Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain to you why you shouldn't buy Amazon's #1 selling sleeping pad, the Sleep and Go. For one, the name of it's Sleep and Go, probably because the first thing to go is your sleep. Nah, it's cheesy. But anyways, I'm going to review this piece of gear under two criteria. One being consumer usability and the other being brand consistency. And I'm going to rate them 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. What I rate this Sleep and Go consumer usability, I'm rating it as a 1. And the brand consistency, I'm going to rate that as 1 as well. To explain or go deeper into why I rated the consumer usability as a #1, we'll just dive right into the pros and cons of this sleeping pad. And I'm going to start with the pros. The pros being, I guess the #1 pro of this thing is that it is lightweight. It only weighs 14 ounces. You compare that to, say, like the Nemo Tensor. It's around 15 ounces. So as far as a lightweight sleeping pad, it is lightweight. The cost is $39.99 right now on Amazon, and that's the thing that got me. That's what sold me on it, was the price point and how many people that was buying it and giving it 4 and 5 stars on the ratings. So it tricked me. It is 2 inches thick, which, I'm a big guy and fully inflated. It done a decent job of keeping me off the ground. It's made of a 20 denier ripstop nylon material. So, not a bad material. Okay. The cons is the durability. I got 2 of them. I've had them for less than a year, and neither one of them will hold air overnight. And so, to me, that's always a deal breaker on a sleeping pad. The other one is this thing is slick. It slides out from underneath you. It's when you inflate it, it kind of does a weird twisty turn thing, and you can, in the middle of the night, it'll come out from underneath your feet. Next thing you know, you wake up, your knees and your shins and your feet are on the ground, or it just slides out from underneath your sleeping bag. I've even tried to stuff it in my sleeping bag and then get in it on it like that, and it'll still manage to slide around you somehow or another. My wife calls it slick on slick. As far as that goes, it is horrible. There's no RValue. And I don't want to be too critical on them on the RValue because it isn't advertised as a 4-season, but it doesn't say that it's a 3-season, and it doesn't say anything about anything like that. So if you don't understand what the RValue is that's the rating with which it insulates you from the ground. And if you know anything about backpacking, the #1 or camping or sleeping on the ground, the #1 thing that takes your body heat away from you is the ground. The ground just basically sucks all your body heat away from you. And so you want a sleeping pad with an RValue, which will reduce that from happening. It's just depending on how cold you're sleeping. If you're in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, if you've got a good sleeping bag, you might be able to get away with a sleeping pad with no RValue, or with an RValue of 1 or 2. But anything, I'm going to say 40 and below, you're going to want something with a good RValue, 3, 4, 5, maybe even higher than that. They get really expensive. The more insulated they are, the more expensive they are. So there's no RValue to this. So this is a 3-season sleeping pad, but I wouldn't go too early spring or too late fall with this thing, depending on what region of the country you live in. So no RValue. And to me, what's really important when it comes to camping or sleeping, backpacking, sleeping out in the woods, is having gear that will give you the confidence that you will get a good night's sleep. This does not give you that. What it does give you is that you will not be sleeping on the ground, right? Or you'll be sleeping on the ground, but you'll have something between you and the ground, and that's about it. There's no confidence that you're going to get a good night's sleep with this sleeping pad, and so to me that is very important. And so when it comes, now we'll switch to brand consistency, and I give it a 1 just simply because it's got a gimmick name, Sleep and Go. It's not a trusted brand of sleeping pad like a lot of brands that are out there, and I'll name a few like Climate, Nemo, Thermarest, Big Agnes. All those are trusted names in sleeping pads and very consistent with their branding and marketing. It seems like the only place you can get this thing is on Amazon, and it's I don't recommend it. I really do not recommend getting this. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I know if you're thinking about buying that, you were like me when I bought it. I had no point of reference. I had no experience with this sleeping pad or any kind of backpacking sleeping pad. I was just wanting something budget, and the thing is there's a lot of expensive gear out there, and if you're unsure of whether or not you want to spend that much money because you don't know, well, there are some budget sleeping pads that I will recommend, and I will put the link in the description. And one of those is Climate Static V. I think Climate is a brand that has been around and is trusted. There's plenty of reviews on that sleeping pad if you're wanting to check out some videos on it. And right now the Static V is on sale for $39.99, which is about half the price of what it was when I was first looking to purchase a sleeping pad. The Static V has no RValue. If it's just something you're just wanting to buy, get out there. It's a trusted name brand. That is a good sleeping pad. Me, personally, if I could go back and tell myself when I was going to go buy my first sleeping pad, I would have got something with some insulation. And so the Static V, they got a Static V Lite, which is a little more expensive. It's $100, but it has an RValue of 4. So that's a good insulated sleeping pad if you're looking for budget. Another option is to get something like the Nemo Switchback, which is just a foam pad that folds up and is really lightweight. I think if I had to go back and if I was going to do it all over again, knowing that I was just going to be a 3-season backpacker, that's what I would have bought. That right there, and you're sleeping on the ground. For me personally, I'm switching this season and I'm going to hammock camping. I'm just going to get completely off the ground and just sleep with a hammock and underquilt and top quilt. And so I'll be having some reviews on that stuff later on. Anyways, thank you for watching this, and I want to save some people the trouble of buying this thing right here, and so I guess there could be some purposes for this. If you were somebody that was only going to camp once or twice, or you got a weekend coming up, you're going to backpack with some buddies, you're not into backpacking, but you don't want to sleep on the ground, and you don't mind spending $40 for one night in a tent, or maybe 1 or 2 nights in a tent, this thing could probably work. But for me to have, if you're planning on doing multiple trips, even if you're a weekend warrior, and you're looking for a budget sleeping pad that'll last you for a year or two or a season or two, this just isn't for you. Going with something more along the lines of the Climate Static V or the Nemo Switchback or something like that. But in all honesty, if I had it all over to do again, the last thing that I would be cheap on would be my sleep system. I would I probably would have, what I done was I spent more money on my backpack and my tent than I did everything else. I probably would have gotten a cheaper backpack because there's some really good options out there, say like Outdoor Vitals. They have a backpack, the Shadow Light, which it's like $179. I would have bought something like that and would have had more money towards my sleeping system. I would have got a more comfortable sleeping pad, and I would have got a better sleeping bag is what I would have done. So anyways, hope this video helps you out. Like I said, the link to the Climate sleeping pads are in the description. I highly recommend those. And also I'll put a link in the description for the Outdoor Vitals Shadow Light backpack, which is a great, I know I don't want to call it budget because it's not cheap, but for $180 for a backpack that performs the way that the Shadow Light does, an amazing price. So anyways, I'll put the link to that backpack in the description as well. Anyways, guys, have a blessed one. Love you. Thanks for watching. Oh, I forgot to give my shout outs. So my shout out for this gear review is going to be Metro on the Move and That Hiker Guy. Check out their channels. I'll put a link in the description. They have great gear reviews and great hiking videos, and just all around awesome guys, worthy of the shout out. Thank you guys for helping me on my hiking journey, and hopefully they'll help you as well.